Hey, good morning, everybody. So check it out. Today, I'm going to be doing some door knocking. I'm taking you guys out for a ride with me. Should be interesting. I just wrapped up 3 days of the Elephant Challenge. During that time was like my first time, like really prospecting, looking for sellers. I was texting, I was cold calling, I was emailing, I was posting on social media, I was doing all of the things. I did have a bunch of really great conversations. I have some deals spinning. I'm super excited about it. Today, I want to hit the road. I'm going to take you guys with me. I ended up getting a script from some sub 2 students. Basically, what they do is they go around, they put like either post-it notes or they print out these things and they put them on doors of people who are actively in pre-foreclosure or foreclosure. And then they do that in hopes of getting some sort of response. So what I did was I put on there, I just basically said, hey, I help people who are in trouble with the bank. If that's you, if you need some sort of help, you have options. I can run those options for you. Here is my number. I took that number and I'm running it through my system so I can track any type of inbounds that are coming as a result of the cold calling and the door knocking. And then I also have a link to my website and I put my logo on there just so it seems a little professional. I pulled a foreclosure list in my old neighborhood out in Corona, California, so that's where I'm gonna be headed today. And I uploaded all of the addresses into a Drive app. Now, there's a bunch of apps that you can actually get that are made for real estate investors where you can, I've never used them, but they're specifically for real estate investors who are, excuse me, I'm a little sick today, that are driving for dollars. Those apps are like $100 a month, one of them's like a couple $100 a month. You can pull leads and do some other things. I found a delivery app. It's $19 per month and you get 7 days for free. So this is my first time driving. And so based on, I think the response I get over the next maybe 3 or 4 days, just if I get some inbound calls, I'll either pull the trigger on the app or I won't. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to not be $99 to death, because that's what can happen. What I've noticed is when you get in this investor space, there is so much technology and systems and programs and all these things. The only thing that I'm using right now is Privy. That's it. Over the past 12 months, as I've tried to learn more about the business and get into all the Zooms and watch all the trainings, what I've done is I've gone in and I've signed up for these different programs. This one's $300 a month. This one's $150 a month. This one's $228 a month. And then you're like, dude, I've spent like $1,000 this month on just programs. And so when I decided to kind of jump, head first into this challenge or whatever, I'm like, I'm not going to go and sign up for all of these programs just to have access. And that was kind of at the direction of Pace. He's like, look, dude, this is the only program you need. People are getting deals. Just do this. And so my thought is, okay, well, let's just get a deal in. Let's get some revenue coming in. And so for me, what I really want to do is stay in a heavy prospecting mode. I want to be talking to as many people as possible every single day, seeing how I can just evaluate their situation, give them options. I know that those conversations will always turn into deals, or that could potentially turn into deals. So this is where I'm focusing most of my time, is just having these conversations. For now, today, we're going to be door knocking, and it should be fun. It should be exciting. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to take you guys with me. I want to show you there's a property right behind me, this one right here, okay? And this property, if you go on Zillow, you can see it listed as a pre-foreclosure. It's not listed, actually. It's just in pre-foreclosure. It does have a lockbox on it. I did go knock on the door. Nobody answered. So what I did was I left a note right on the outside of the garage there. Sometimes if there's like a Ring camera, I'll leave the note on the front door because I know they're going to get a notification from Ring that somebody approached the property. But if there's not, I don't want to put the note on the front door because what will end up happening is they might miss it. They might go in through the garage and I want them to see the note. I want to get it in their hands. So the thing is about these properties that are in pre-foreclosure, like if this property is not listed and it's in pre-foreclosure, this person doesn't have a ton of options, right? Because at some point the bank is going to send this property to auction. And if they're going to list the property in the market, that's going to take time. They're going to need to get the house clean. They're going to have to do some showings. They're going to have to do some open houses. And then they're going to have to, actually close escrow. So that takes time. So a lot of times when a property is in foreclosure and it's kind of too late towards the sale date, the only option is a cash buyer. Okay, so a couple other properties, I was just driving by and I figured maybe I just hit these people up. So like this house here behind me, like there is all kinds of crap. I don't know if you can see this. I can't zoom in, but like clearly a hoarder house. There's crap all over the front yard. Not a property that was on my list, but I was driving by. I figured I'd just drop in. I door knocked them. I left a note on their on the RV. And then there's this property right here. Hopefully I don't get run over here. A car coming. Then there's this property right here too, which appears to be vacant. There's stuff in the driveway here. You can see my letter right there. They also have the world's biggest camera right here dangling down, so that's kind of interesting. But I went ahead and I door knocked both those properties, and then I left notes for both of them too. So I'm just out here just trying to start conversations, wanting to talk to people, and I'll keep you updated on what's happening. One of the things that I've noticed, a couple of the properties that I visited, there have been for sale signs out in front. So what I'm doing is I'm just calling those agents while in there, and just picking up the phone and saying like, hey, what's going on with this property, blah 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 blah. I actually saw one property where there was like stuff in the window and like do not trespass, all kinds of stuff, and it was listed. So I called the agent and I just said, hey, tell me what's going on with this property, and they wanted like $1 million for it, and it's like completely way above way above the market value. And so there was no opportunity there. But this other home I just called, there was a sign out front, the guy's from Cyprus, and I just said, hey, tell me about this property. I'm just driving by. I don't have anything in front of me, so I don't know what's going on. This property showed up on a pre-foreclosure list, and so I'm just driving and knocking, and I saw your sign. I thought I'd call you. He said, yeah, they want $599 for the property, and blah 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 blah. And I said, hey, are they open to? I said, do you have any offers on the table? And I said, no, we don't have any offers. I said, okay, well, how long you been on the how long you been on the market? He said about 45 days. And I'm like, perfect. This is like a perfect scenario. And I said, look, if I could come in at or around asking price, do you think your seller would be open to some creative financing? And he's like, well, what does that look like, or what does that mean? I said, basically what would happen is I would take over the loan and I would make those payments for them, and then I would give them, some cash depending on, if the property needs any repairs or whatever. And I'm like, to give you an example, if they're listing the property at 600, and let's say they needed 500 to come current, I would basically bring it current, take over the mortgage, and then I would write them a check for 100,000 at closing, and then I would just buy the property that way. And he said, oh, sounds interesting. And I said, okay, cool. Well, there's a little bit of information that I would need to see if, that makes sense for me. And again, I apologize because I'm not, up to speed. I don't know anything about this property. So if you could gather some information for me, that would be awesome. I just said, I need to know what the mortgage balance is, what, the arrears are, what the current rates on their mortgage is now. And then, something else, I can't remember what I asked him. I said, I'll send it in a text, and then we'll see if this works, and if it does, you can write the offer for me. He's like, oh, cool, man, awesome. So I sent him that information, the stuff that I need from him. And he wrote back, he's like, awesome. He goes, I'm driving or I'm doing something, and I'll connect with you later on. I'll get this information and connect with you later on in the day. So for me, I feel like that's a huge win. So a couple things, I'm getting some experience. I'm having some conversations with some agents. The first agent that I talked to who was asking for, or the property was listed really high at that $1 million. There was no deal there anyways, but I did mention, look, if you get in a pinch, or if you know anybody, or if you have any properties, I'm looking for properties that need to be rehabbed. And also, if you have any properties that aren't moving, and your seller's open to seller finance or some sort of creative finance, I'm a player in that space. So let me know. And I could tell by her tone, she wasn't into it. So, whatever, I put it out in front of her, but I will continue to follow up with her and send her texts and maybe some phone calls. I don't know. But this guy here, he was super into it. He wants to make a deal. And I love guys like this, because they win, we win, and the seller wins. And so big win for me. I've spent about $700 today in gas in my truck. I'm just kidding. I don't know how much I've spent, but I'm a half a tank deep, and it cost me $150 to fill this beast. So I'm bleeding a little bit of gas money, but it's not a big deal. I'm open for the investment, and I'm excited to see what happens on this particular deal. What's up, everybody? So I want to give you an update. I'm officially done knocking for the day, door knocking and ding dong ditching, everything else. I'm whipped. I'm a little bit under the weather. I definitely need to go home and take a nap. I'm just waiting for my daughter to get out of school, and then my butt is headed home. But I wanted to give you an update, and I made some notes. This is kind of the outcome for today. So spoke with two agents. One of them was not interested in doing, anything. We just kind of Gave her my contact information. That's not going anywhere, I don't think. I did talk to another agent, have a potential opportunity. One of the things that I thought was kind of cool is that if you're driving around and you're door knocking these pre-foreclosures and you find that the property is currently listed, I feel like it's a really easy way to start a conversation with an agent versus just calling them saying, hey, you know, I got this information off the MLS, or I saw you on Zillow. I like being able to say, like, oh, I'm standing in front of the house. I was door knocking, looking for some properties in the area. I'm standing in front of the house. I saw your sign. I feel like it's a really easy way to have a conversation with an agent. That way, I think it takes some of the weirdness out of it. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anyways, I did talk to an agent, waiting to get back some information from him, pitching a sub too. I'm super excited about that. We'll see how it goes. I'll keep you guys updated. In total, I knocked 25 doors. I didn't talk to any homeowners, which is really annoying. I would have liked to at least get one person out. In all fairness, there was a couple people that I couldn't knock because I didn't want to go past the gate. So I just put my thing or whatever the heck this is called, my paper on the garage or one of their cars or whatever. So we'll see what happens. The other thing I was thinking, and I'm just reading my notes here that I made. The other thing that I was thinking is, I was thinking Monday might not be a great day to do this, just because I think if the property is currently listed and I don't have that data, right? So I pull a foreclosure list, but it doesn't say if it's like listed on the MLS. And if I wanted to sort through all the stuff, it would just be really time consuming, just easier just going to the property. At least that's what I know right now. So one of the things that I was thinking is, well, if you show up on a Monday and they did an open house that prior weekend and they have offers, then it's a harder conversation to have with the agent around doing some sort of seller financing. But if you do it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday and they did do an open house the previous weekend and they don't have any offers, then I feel like they might be more open to talk about seller finance or creative financing or sub 2 or whatever. So just kind of my thoughts. But of course, I talked to an agent and today is a Monday and they're open to a creative finance offer. So who really knows? I'm going to door knock. I'm gonna do the same thing again on Wednesday or Thursday of this week. I got to check my schedule, but I'm going to try to aim for 2 days a week, and I will give you an update. I don't know if I said this in my other video. Had a great conversation with that real estate agent. I'm so bummed I didn't hit record on my GoPro, because it would have been so awesome to splice that in here and you guys could see exactly how I did and give me some feedback. But definitely we'll do it on the next one. If I talk to him tonight, I'm going to make sure I record it.